All right, everybody, welcome back to the Rock and Roll Rebel Show, and I'm your man, Thunder Dan. And they want to ban TikTok. It's getting real out there. Of course, we know yesterday we did a little show on it, and the House did pass it. Now it's got to be voted on in the Senate, but I don't know if it's going to pass. I don't think you're going to get it all to go. Who even knows if it's constitutional? I don't even really think it's constitutional to just ban an app from a store that you pay or don't pay for. Some are free, some you pay for. So we're going to break this all down. I think the real reason is because the propaganda from the wrong side doesn't like it. I feel like the United States is, Whitney Webb has the great book out, the United States is blackmailed, one nation under blackmail. Same thing with Jeffrey Epstein and all that. So we out here, we're going to wake you all up. We're going to wake you all up. Remember, it's the jungle. Protect yourselves at all times. And we're going to get into this show. And we're going to make it a quick one. You know what I'm saying? I just want to educate. Because we always here. We Monday through Friday, baby. Saturday, Sunday. Any given time, we can go live. That's the beauty of 2024. So let's just jump into this. And here's a weird thing, too. Because we had the leaked tape of the Israel ADL. And he doesn't like the information because it's just getting pushed out. But I guess Israel does not like what's going on with all the Gaza stuff coming out, where you can see the videos of Israel just blowing up people, shooting people. It's all over TikTok. You see the left wing of the Democratic Party is, rising up. People don't want to see war. That's the main goal of all this. Don't see any war. So we're going to get this jumping. We're going to get into this. And I guess Steve Munich, Trump's old treasurer from his cabinet, and I didn't like Trump's cabinet. Trump's cabinet was infiltrated. And same thing with Biden's cabinet. If you look at Biden's cabinet, they all have one thing in common. And Trump had a lot of things of the same common. And as you know, as I said yesterday, I am agnostic Jewish. I got less than 1%, but it's there. It's in the bloodline. I think Leitzer, if you go back to my family tree, I believe in 1835, James Scott married Leitner Scott, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on nothing, baby, because, I had to pull it up on Ancestry or 23andMe. But it's there. It's all there. But I don't even know how they get any of that stuff. And here I go on that ramble tip, because I watched some video on the other day where people were doing, they were getting their DNA tested from their dogs. And they're finding out their dogs are French or Australian or English, German, whatever. So I don't know how any of that works out, dog DNA or cats. They were doing cats, and they were just doing all types of animals. It's all silly and funny. But that's what we're going to do, baby. That's what we're going to do. But we're going to pull this up. And here's Steve Munich. I guess he's talking about how he is going to buy TikTok. And I don't know. He happens to be Jewish. He has some. He opened up some company with Israel. And the first thing that I believe they did, if what I read was right, was to have a cyber attack that shut down the elections and started martial law in the United States. So I don't know, people. You got to protect yourselves at all times. It's getting wild out here. It's getting wilder and wilder. And I don't know what's going to happen in 2024. Of course, you had the Trump stuff today. He's still going to have to stand trial, I guess, for the Stormy Daniels thing. But it was supposed to start in 11 days. It doesn't look like it's going to start now. I mean, the left's throwing everything out at him. And the same thing with Ken Buck. They're doing the thing with Ken Buck where he just dropped out, and they're trying to do a special election for his district in Colorado. But Lauren Boebert is trying to move over to that district because she's from Colorado, and she wants to get in the special counsel race. But they're not going to let her some stuff. So it's like a hit job. I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully Lauren Boebert can get over there. But the rumor out here, here's the rumor. Oh, man, I wanted to save this, but here we go. I'm going to put it out here. Supposedly, allegedly, there's going to be 3 more Republicans dropping out of the House. So this is their goal. Then the Democrats would control the House for the election. Hakeem Jeffries would become the Speaker of the House. The Democrats would control the House. They control the Senate. And when Trump wins, they're not going to let him in. So imagine that. That's what they're trying to do right now. That's what I think might be going to happen. So if any more Republicans drop out of the House, that's the plan. They are going to protest the election, which Trump wanted to do in 2020, which he had every right. But he had interference from the feds. And it also comes out that the Central Intelligence Agencies was there on January 6th. They had dogs there, a dog team, and bomb squad or stuff. But I don't know what that is because they guard their stuff too, and they got dogs. So I don't know, but it's all very suspicious. January 6th, the pipe bomber. They traced the pipe bomber back to a metro station doing geotag. So we know there's cameras there, but they don't find them. So this is why I have a big feeling that America is in trouble. We are being lied to every day, and we need to wake up. And the only way we're going to do it is hopefully get out and vote. You vote for Donald Trump. Hopefully he can fix this in 4 years. It's very important what his vice president is going to be. Well, JFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., might be picking Aaron Rodgers. The media is flipping out about that. They're bringing up Sandy Hook and all this stuff that Aaron Rodgers said, but I'm going to show you proof that Aaron Rodgers didn't say none of that. It's going to be a crazy 8 months. A crazy 8 months.
Look at this dumb motherfucker.
But let's get into the TikTok ban here and how Israel wants to buy it. Imagine that. And then I found out some more stuff today because Rand Paul was on with Tucker. And Rand Paul's very plugged in. He's a senator. And he got a lot of information on TikTok. You think TikTok is Chinese and all that, but it's not really Chinese. Yeah, they have some people on the board, members and stuff like that. And yes, China can request data information, but it's the same thing that Facebook, Google, every other company does. Like if you have a phone, they know exactly what you're doing 24/7, every day of the week. They know what you're eating. They know what you're wearing. Trust me, the phone, supposedly like the iPhone takes photos every 5 seconds of you, infrared style. Google, you search whatever you search. So none of our data is secure. We need to find out how we can secure our data. But here's Steve Munich, former President Trump's secretary out here talking about how he wants to buy TikTok. Let's pull this up. And it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild when you see the truth coming at you.
Start with TikTok, because I think we're all trying to understand what's happening here, whether it should be banned, divested, or otherwise. And if it is divested, who may be a potential buyer?
Well, when I was Treasury Secretary, I chaired CFIUS, and CFIUS approved, and I had President Trump sign an order that TikTok had to be sold. And I continue to believe that. So I think the legislation should pass. And I think it should be sold. I understand the technology. It's a great business, and I'm going to put together a group to buy TikTok.
You're trying to buy TikTok?
I am, because this should be owned by U.S. businesses. There's no way that the Chinese would ever let a U.S. company own something like this in China.
You said, have you already put a group together?
Yeah, well, I'm working on it.
You're exploring a group.
I've spoken to a bunch of people, but
who would be part of your group?
I can't tell that to you now, but
it
would be a combination of investors. So there would be no one investor that controlled this. And the issue is all about the technology. This needs to be controlled by U.S.
Let me ask you a very practical.
So that's wild right there. That is 100% wild. We keeping up with the chat, baby. Chat, what do you think of that? We keeping up with the chat. We was chatting with the chat. And so this bum right here, this guy's evil. And I'm going to play this guy. I guess he's a famous TikToker where he had the other day, he did it about China. He thought it was about China. Yeah, TikTok will suppress certain stuff about China and stuff like that. But the TikTok servers are in like Dallas, Texas. So they're trying to do everything they can to comply, and they've been trying to do that. There's Americans on the board. There's American employees there. So, yeah, of course, like any other company, just like the way the United States government went in and shut down stuff on Twitter and Facebook with the New York Post about Hunter Biden. They're just mad. and they can't control the information. They want to control the information. So that's what it's all about. And then this influencer right here on TikTok, he did something about China, and he said it did get suppressed. But then everybody was telling me it's Israel. Israel wants to buy the app. So let's play this. I thought this was very enlightening, and it's worth a watch. I mean, it's blowing up. It's over 1 million views just on Twitter, so I'm sure it's banging on TikTok. So let's pull this up and play this, and this will be very interesting to see the real truth. I mean, I think it's like 5 minutes or something, and then we can get into A-Rod. But let's pull this up over here, because I don't need all that like that, right? Let's see if we can do some work, huh? We doing some work here? What we got going on here? Yep. Something like that. Is that better? That's something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to get it up so everybody can see it clearly. But let's play this.
Is not trying to buy it. It's people with really deep ties to Israel. This lead came from Whitney Webb, the patron saint.
Whitney Webb is awesome. Follow her.
And it starts here with Steve Mnuchin, who just announced that he's putting together investors to buy TikTok. But wait, Ian, Steve Mnuchin was the U.S. Treasury Secretary. He's not Israel, right? Well, let's peel this onion back one layer at a time, starting with just the fact that he's Jewish, just par for the course. And don't worry, we're going to get all the way to Mossad here in a second. But it's important that you know that Mnuchin had a long, illustrious career at Goldman Sachs and hedge funds. He was a key member of the Trump campaign. And among his many ties to questionable people in finance, he's buddies with Michael Milken, who's famous for being one of the richest and most evil scumbags in the history of the last century of finance. Michael Milken revolutionized the art of stealing from the poor and getting really rich by manipulating the financial markets. And in the interest of shitting on Trump and Biden when credit is due, Trump pardoned him right before he left office. So anyways, Mnuchin has long been a huge supporter of Israel. He's been talking about how it's time to invest in Israel again after October 7th. And he recently traveled to Israel with his business partner, David Friedman. David Friedman is the United States ambassador to Israel for the Trump campaign. He has a long relationship with Trump going back to 1994, where he was his lawyer representing the Trump organization. And he's not like just Jewish. He's like born to a family of rabbis and went to Hebrew Academy, you know what I mean? And they were trying to recruit the ex-head of Mossad to join their investment fund. But from what I can tell, it didn't pan out, or he got recruited to a different banking enterprise. But that's the kind of person that they want on their team. We're specifically referring to Yossi Cohen, the former director of Mossad, and a bunch of news outlets seemed to pick up on it and were reporting on it when they were just in talks and nothing was confirmed yet. And maybe it heated up too much and they decided maybe not a good look. But one venture that our buddies Mnuchin and Friedman have invested in with their fund called Liberty Strategic Capital is this company called Cyber Reason. It's a U.S.-Israeli late-stage cybersecurity startup. This is their logo. And Steve Mnuchin has a board seat because of his investment firm's funding for this venture. Whitney Webb has done all kinds of reporting about this company, doing simulations about that thing where we vote. Like, gosh, what would happen if we had to impose martial law because the thing where you vote got attacked? I'm not making that up. It's a deep rabbit hole. And their board of directors includes people like a vice president of security and privacy engineering at Google, and a deputy CISO and director of intelligence and operations at Lockheed Martin. And this is the consortium of players that are pooling money to try to buy TikTok. Because I've been doing a lot of reporting on this TikTok bill. I've been in a lot of Twitter spaces with people in the policy realm talking about how the policy is getting written and why it's getting written. And from a TikTok creator and TikTok user standpoint, the one thing that we're all thinking is like, the censorship is not about China on TikTok. It's about Israel. And the problem that all these politicians and rich people have about TikTok is pretty obviously, probably, allegedly, my opinion only, the massive support for the other, country that was there before. And it's just so frustrating that when you oppress people's free speech with censorship, they don't just give in and believe what you want them to believe. It's almost like they free speech more. So there's a simple solution. And
yeah, and we're going to cut him off, but that's basically it. And I believe it, baby. I believe it 100%. I mean, it's just they want to get rid of the censorship, and this bill like creates stuff like they could probably go after X next with Elon, because basically the bill is saying like if there's like a foreign entity, and I don't know all the countries that were written into it. I think Iran's written into it, definitely probably Russia. So if they want to say like Elon's working for Russia, and I'm sure Twitter or X has foreign backing. There's foreign money backing them up. I don't know if the Saudis put in money because Elon didn't put up the whole, what did he pay, like $45 billion for Twitter? It's crazy. So how much is TikTok worth? That's what I'm saying. How much is TikTok worth? But I guess if TikTok has a thing where they can't do nothing in the United States, maybe TikTok stands their ground. You know what I'm saying? ByteDance is the company that owns it. Maybe they stand their ground, like, all right, we're not going to do it in the USA because I'm sure TikTok's huge everywhere else. I don't know. And then the TikTok that's in China is a different version. It's called TikTok, but it's a different version. It's not the version that everywhere else has TikTok. So, because China's got rules. All these countries have rules where you can't do this, can't do that. You know, some countries, the women got to be covered up and just their eyes showing, you know? So it's all crazy. It's all censorship. That's all it is. They just want to censor Americans. They want to censor us. They want to control us. They don't want us to find out the real truths out there. And it's just like with Aaron Rodgers, how they're hitting on Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? They're hitting him up, talking about Sandy Hook and all this nonsense. You know what I'm saying? None of that makes no sense. So I don't understand. We're going to fix this screen here. But they're coming after Aaron Rodgers. They're coming after all of us. And they're going to keep on coming after us because that's all they know how to do. You know what I'm saying? That's all they know how to do is to come after us. This is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. But we're going to put this over here. But yeah, they just doing wild stuff. They're just doing wild stuff, and they're going to keep on doing wild stuff. And we can't let them. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to get out and vote. You got to get out and vote.
Look at this dumb motherfucker.
But let's play this here. I wanted to play the Rand Paul stuff because he had a good thing on TikTok. Yeah, let's play the Rand Paul thing. We can wrap this up. We're already at 17 minutes. It goes long, baby. It goes long out here. But here's Rand Paul basically breaking down a lot of it, too. And he was on Tucker talking about how that we can't trust them and stuff like that. So let's pull this up because Rand Paul is going to drop a lot of knowledge
So
here.
why would they be joining him in this? Do you have any idea?
You know, my concern has always been with the centralization of power, with giving up power. I don't care whether it's a Republican or a Democrat president.
Amen.
I don't want any president to have the power to ban apps that are sold on an app store. And that's essentially what this is going to happen. 180 million Americans put dance videos up and whatever else is on TikTok, and they choose the terms of those services the same way people on Facebook do. And does Facebook scrape your data? Sure. Does Google scrape your data? Do all of these giant tech companies scrape your data? They all take your data. But the thing is there are now accusations. They say, oh, TikTok's owned by the Chinese government. The Chinese communists own it. Well, that's not even true. You can't say stuff just over and over again that's not true. TikTok is owned by about 60% of it's owned by international investors from all over the world. 20% is owned by the two Chinese software engineers that created the app. And 20% is owned by the employees of TikTok, which 7,000 of them are Americans. So there's a significant nexus of Americans in the ownership. And then there's a significant nexus of Americans using this. And they say, oh, well, the Chinese government owns it. It's just frankly not true. Now, the company that owns TikTok also owns something like TikTok that is censored, and the Chinese let that be broadcast throughout China. The Chinese government does have a member of the board. It's called Douyin. It's the Chinese TikTok. But they don't have a member of the board of ByteDance. They don't control ByteDance, and the data is now kept in Oracle Cloud, centered in Texas. And this has been done because the company wants to try to exist. It's a very popular app. It has a great deal of value, so they're doing anything they can to comply, and yet the hysterics in the House are just...
That's true. Dan Crenshaw got money from Israel. So this is what I'm saying. We got to pay attention out here, baby. We got to pay attention. We got to stay safe. And they're going to keep coming for us. They're going to keep coming for us. Got to get out and vote. Got to get out and vote. And then let's play this whole Aaron Rodgers thing. They're talking about Aaron Rodgers was talking about Sandy Hook and all this stuff. And they want to lie. They want to lie. Here we go.
attacking the news media for, quote, covering up important stories. Rogers then brought up the Sandy Hook shooting and said the news media was intentionally ignoring that the shooting wasn't real, that it was a government inside job. I remind you, the shooting, of course, was very real, very tragic. 20 children and 6 adults were murdered that day. When Pamela Brown asked Aaron Rodgers for evidence of what he was talking about, Rodgers then began sharing various theories that have been disproven numerous times by evidence. Rodgers falsely claimed to Pamela Brown that there were men in black in the woods by the school, and he asked if she thought that was odd. Brown says that she found the entire encounter disturbing. In 2013, when...
So that's 100% a lie. They're just going after Aaron Rodgers because he's Aaron Rodgers. And he made the short list for Robert Kennedy to be vice president. And I think that'd be a great ticket. I think they could win Wisconsin. You know, the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers. They're mad. I think Biden's fighting the third-party candidacy right now because they're going to take away from Joe Biden because Joe Biden's incompetent. He's senile. Inflation is going up. It's just getting crazier and crazier at the grocery store. And gas is going back up. I don't understand how so many Americans are going to be making it. I mean, it's getting tougher and tougher. But you got to keep fighting and clawing. You got to figure it out. And that's why a lot of these jobs are adding. It's like part-time jobs. It's part-time jobs. So people out there struggling, people on fixed incomes, it gets hard out there. So make sure you like and sub up, baby. Like and sub up. And this is the Rock and Roll Rebel Show. You know what we do. You know what we do. And then here's Aaron Rodgers, what he really said. He was on a TV show after the Sandy Hook thing, 2012, talking about what really happened. So this reporter's just trying to make stuff up. And here's what Aaron Rodgers really felt about the Sandy Hook trial. They're trying to get him the Alex Jones treatment, I guess.
But from lawmakers to celebrities, the whole country really is talking about the people and what happened in Newtown.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers getting in on that as well today. He shares what he hopes will come from this tragedy.
I hope that we can learn from this and look for the signs more and not ever have something like this happen and keep this on our minds, because these are things that affect all of us directly or indirectly, and this needs to be something that we learn from.
Amen, amen. Aaron Rodgers is right. He's right. And they're mad at Aaron Rodgers because he talks about the vaccines and all that. And he's trying to wake up the world like I am. But thank you all for tuning in, baby. Thank you all for tuning in. It's been an honor. It's the jungle. Protect yourselves at all times, because that's the only thing we can do out here. That's the only thing we can do. Make sure you do not vote for Joe Biden.
Come on, man.
I said it, Joe. Can't vote for you no more. And we're just going to get them, baby. We're just going to get the people going. And stay free, baby. Stay free. Become ungovernable. Become ungovernable. That's the only way we're going to get out of this tragedy of 2024, what's going on. They did everything they did with the elections and everything. So it's peace and love. I'll see you all tomorrow, baby. It's Friday.
I see her rolling up, Uber